Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today to learn all about our new partnership with Teltonika Networks. My name's Sam and I'll be your host. If at any point you've got a question, please put the question in the Q&A box and we'll do our best to answer it at the end of the session. As you might have just heard, we are recording the session and you'll get a link to the recording following the webinar today. So at this point, I'd like to hand over to my colleague, Craig. Craig's going to be just providing some background and context about why Open Reality is branching into cellular and how we see this benefiting our partners and why Teltonika is the perfect partner for us to kickstart this new direction. So over to you, Craig.
Thank you, Samuel. Morning, everybody. For those of you who have not met, my name's Craig. I head up the sales team, Open Reality. Just going to spend a couple of minutes just explaining where Teltonika fits in our portfolio of products and really why we've decided to partner with them. So I know we've got a lot of existing customers on this session. I think it would be fair to say that we're probably still most known for our partnership with Ekahau and the solutions we provide around Wi-Fi design and site survey. We feel like we've probably been at the forefront of that space for kind of 10 plus years. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been gradually adding to our portfolio, kind of logically, still under this kind of wireless kind of brand. But in fact, I think a lot of what we've done today has actually been Wi-Fi. So obviously we've been building on the kind of design solutions with Ekahau into providing Wi-Fi access points, Wi-Fi antennas, mounting brackets. If you want to monitor your Wi-Fi network, if you want to provide a certain level of kind of captive portal functionality within Wi-Fi. So everything's been really Wi-Fi focused. However, we fully understand that wireless literally is a very broad spectrum, and for us, one of the more logical areas to move into was cellular. So Teltonika is the first step into the cellular world for us. We see this as the kind of public cellular brand, and there's a whole range of use cases, and Larry's going to cover some of them in his overview. But certainly cellular for us is going to be a focal point to complement what we're doing with Wi-Fi. So yeah, first step is public cellular. We do have probably it's going to be announced in the coming month or so a move into private cellular, and equally we're trying to kind of build in some of the kind of Wi-Fi site survey design solutions that we built into Wi-Fi also into the cellular world, because we understand it's also a requirement. So yeah, we're going to start building more and more stuff out into the cellular space. In terms of why we've chosen to work with Teltonika, there's a couple of reasons. So they do have a strong brand in the UK. I think 2023 somewhere around about the 15 million euro mark. So certainly in the kind of customer base, and then we've got a lot of partners here who want to take a brand to their customer base. It's very well respected and revered in the market. So it is a very strong brand. There's a whole range of use cases, customer reference sites in the UK. So it's a big market. That said, we really like that they're a very strong European base. All the manufacturing is done, kind of in region, and Larry will cover a bit more detail around that. Pricing, very competitively priced. And we like the fact that they weren't too broad in what they offered. They, yes, they've got a few additional products, but they weren't carrying 200 different product lines. They're very kind of focused around some of the kind of connectivity solutions using cellular. Final bit from me, just to re-emphasize where we sit. We are going to be one of the top tier of distributors for Teltonika in the UK. We have our account management team and obviously marketing team that can support partners with any move into this space or if they're already in this space. We will carry local stock, and we've got a range of accredited engineers like we do in the Wi-Fi space, so we can help with all sorts of kind of pre and post sales activities. And it's worth reminding to some of the partners that are on the session, as well as kind of product resale, there is a professional services opportunity with Teltonika, and also if we've got some MSPs in the session, there's also a kind of ability to kind of manage some of these as part of a wider kind of network connectivity offering. So that's my bit done, short and sweet. I will pass over to, we call him Larry, but obviously I'm sure he might introduce himself very Britishly. He decided to give him a British name, so apologies for that. But Lauren asked if I said that right. If you want to keep it more formal, that's fine. I'll pass over to you. But yeah, just a reminder, when you need me to move on, just let me know and I'll click on the slides.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Really happy to be here alongside the guys from Open Reality. Really excited for this partnership from Teltonika Networks side. My name is Laurinas, but everyone calls me Larry, as Craig mentioned, for short, and I'm responsible for business development in the UK. So without further ado, I'd like to present a bit about Teltonika Networks and what we stand on. So next slide, please. So we've been in the market for more than 25 years. We're a global manufacturer of networking and cellular connectivity devices. And through those 25 years, we've gathered experience of developing networking and especially industrial networking solutions for IoT, M2M communications. And we have a wide portfolio for really, really complex areas for the whole industry 4.0. Next slide, please. So we have quite a substantial global presence with the offices. Our devices are deployed in more than 180 countries, and we work with industry leaders and have more than 1,500 partners working alongside with us. We have 36 offices spread across 26 countries. And the latest office that opened up is actually in the UK. That's based in Manchester. So with this, we're trying to establish a local presence to give our partners even more clear and concise partnerships there locally with the technical and commercial support. Next slide, please. One of the key things that differentiate us from other competitors is that we have our own manufacturing facilities and everything happens in-house. So whether it comes from the concept to R&D to testing, our professionals work under one roof to follow the strictest standards, ensure maximum quality and efficiency. And at Teltonika, we have complete control of our manufacturing streamline process. So that makes us really flexible and rapid in manufacturing. And this was one of the key reasons why during the COVID times, we actually grew as a company instead of stagnating as a lot of our competitors. Next slide, please. So during the years that we've operated, we've been recognized by Berg Insight as a top 3 cellular provider of routers and gateways in the world, that's where our the strong points are. And with our manufacturing facilities, we've managed to deploy actually more than 1 million devices over 2023, which is a remarkable achievement, I believe. And we invest a lot of time and money into different certifications and product requirements for different vertical markets. So whether it's utilities and energy that need specific networking protocols and certifications, we're working on that quite rapidly. Next slide, please. So these are our manufacturing facilities, as you can see. It looks a bit AI generated, but it's actually real. I've been there and visited it, and it's located 40 kilometers away from Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania. It's 11,000 square meters of the manufacturing facilities. So the packaging, the 8 SMT lines, and more than 100 robots are working to install the firmware and hardware inside of our routers, gateways, switches, and we have a monthly capacity of more than 500 key products that could be manufactured inside of these manufacturing facilities. Next slide, please.
Larry, are those houses real in the picture?
Yeah, they are. They are actually. So actually, the CEO.
Well, they were gutted when you built that next to them.
No, so actually, there are a lot of a lot of the engineers live there actually, so they don't have to go a long time with the vehicles to get to the manufacturing facilities. And our CEO and founder actually is from this small town, Molete, and he's doing a lot of philanthropic activities there as well. So yeah.
Looks like you've got solar panels all across the roof. That's pretty good for power generation.
Exactly, and really sustainable as well. So talking about our developments and growth as a company, we are currently building a PCB plant, plastic parts and electronics assembly plant in Vilnius, Lithuania, the capital city, to further increase our in-house capabilities as a company. So we would not only focus on manufacturing ourselves, only the hardware, but manufacturing for other companies, the hardware that they need, and providing chips that are all European based. Next slide, please.
So did I hear that actually your aim is that 95% will be manufactured in-house, including components?
Yeah, that's our goal. By 2025 and 2023, we're planning to do everything in-house and manufacture our chips, modules, and all the parts in-house in Lithuania.
Okay, cool.
So this is a quick glance at how our portfolio looks like. So we have the 5G, 4G routers. There can be cellular routers, Ethernet routers for outdoors. We have the gateways with lots of different protocols, especially for the utilities and energy segments. We have managed and unmanaged switches. For now, the managed switches only go up to 8 ports, but in 2025, we're planning to have more ports, the rack switches. Then we have the modems for more of enterprise-based solutions. We have the APs, access points. And finally, we have our own remote management platform that we've been working on for more than 15 years, I would say, and developing and updating every month. So that's a really good solution to manage the whole fleet of your devices, whether you need remote configuration or just change things remotely. Next slide, please. So I just quickly wanted to go through a few of our bestsellers and best-selling devices. These are the Root 2 and 3 series that are 4G devices. They're compatible with RMS, and they're really, really small. As you can see, they fit inside my palm. So for deployment in really spatial restricted areas, they're really good as they can provide Wi-Fi and cellular connectivity and at the same time be very small. So next slide, please. Moving on, we have the Root 9 series. It's a bit heftier of a device. It's really robust and has this really industrial look. It has the DIN rail capabilities to mount them, and these have usually serial interfaces such as RS-232, GNSS, and dual SIM for seamless connectivity. And these are often used in public transport. They also could be used in energy sectors that require the precise location tracking. And next slide, please. Finally, we have our flagship series that are the Root X series. As you can see, they're quite a bit bigger, and these ones include the 5G connections for those really high throughput speeds. They have more Ethernet ports and functionalities as well as dual SIMs. The Root X14 has the dual 4G module to simultaneously work with 2 SIM cards. So these are the beefier versions of our routers. And yeah. Next.
Okay, so I think, I'm missing the RMS slide.
Is it the slide after that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so
okay,
on the
sorry,
RMS.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Doug. So what we're going to do, Richard is one of the accredited Teltonika engineers, works for Open Reality. Some of you may know him from, he runs the ECHO training courses as well. I was going to do a quick demo. So Richard, just because you're going to do a bit of demo of the kind of standard UI that you get kind of inclusive with the product, and then also talk a little bit about the RMS, which is a separate subscription to manage the devices. Is that right?
That's correct, Craig. So we're going to start off by looking at the local interface that's available to you. Let me just share the screen. So this is the local web interface. Now we can, from the local interface, so we need connectivity to the device, normally locally, and from here we can do all the configuration. I've just logged in and we're seeing the status of it. If I want to go and look at the individual system, now the system information, etc. From a network perspective, from the mobile, we can see we're connected, what mobile connectivity we've got. We can also here do the configuration. So I've got this configured for a failover. So in the event that the wired connectivity to the device fails, be it that the interface goes down, or the devices that we're actually checking are active via it, so we will actually do a active testing through the interface to confirm that it's actually valid. If that wired interface goes down, then we then seamlessly fail over to the mobile connectivity. Mobile connectivity, we check every 60 seconds. The devices being accessible through there. Both of these intervals can be edited. I've just turned it down on the modem side of it. Again, we have built into the device, as we're seeing here, firewall functionality. We can also add additional components. So for example, if we don't have a public IP, if we don't have a static public IP address on the device and we want to use dynamic DNS, we can have that dynamic DNS automatically configured to populate in the environment on that side of it. Now that's and say great if we've only got the one appliance to manage and we're locally to the appliance. If I have multiple appliances or I'm remote from the appliance, then I could do with some means of managing that appliance directly from the internet, and that's where the RMS comes in, the Teltonika remote management system. Now the remote management system does not require the device to have a static IP address or a public IP address. If it has a public IP address, it works fine, but it can also work with a non-public address. When the device is registered to the system, and registration is as simple as putting in selecting the model type, putting in the serial number, the MAC address, as well as the password that you're using for the device, and then when the device connects, it will then get registered into your system. So I'm looking into here, and from here I can manage the device. So from here, if I want to, I can open the web interface or the management interface of the device remotely. What's happening is I'm actually having a web session out to the RMS environment, where that's going via a proxy to come back to the Teltonika router in this case. So I can now log into my router here, and I am as if I am on the actual device when it connects up. And I've now got exactly the same web interface available. So anything I could do locally, I can now do remotely. Again, if you've only got the one appliance, then this is, quite a useful way of managing it. I can disconnect, and I shall just remove the link. Now, once I remove that link, if I wanted to give that link to somebody, they can follow that link and then they would hit the web interface of the controller. They don't have to log in via the MS system. That link can also have a time duration on it. So if you have an engineer that you need to connect to it, you can give him a half-hour window when he can connect. After that half hour, the link is gone. I can also pull up more information about the device. So the device is telling me how it is connected. We can see that, yes, the mobile status, it's got a SIM in, which SIM it's using. In this case, it's only got the one, but if you've got multiple device SIMs, you can check on both of those. You can see the status of the Ethernet ports on the device. It's actively monitoring. From here, I can do things like trigger a backup. I can also select a number of devices, and I can then apply a single configuration to those devices. So if I've got a whole group of devices that I need to add a new service to, or I want to modify a setting, well, instead of having to do that on every single one, I can do that on the individual item if I want, on that side of it. So it makes my life easier. I've got here, everything is recorded. Now that's great. I can manage my Teltonika router, but what happens if I've got a device that's behind that router that I need to manage? Well, we can do that as well, because we then have what we call the RMS remote connect session. Now from here, I can connect to the device. So behind my device, I have a number of devices, one of which is a webcam. So this has got an HTTP interface on it. So all I need to do is click onto that, and I can see who's been using it, what they've done. And if I want to connect to it, I just click connect. Up will pop a window to bring me to the device. In this case, I have to authenticate to my webcam, and I am now onto my webcam. Again, this webcam is effectively remote, so if I need to connect to it. Now this is a web interface basically on the environment. I'm going to just disconnect from that. Again, we have this link here. This link by default is going to be valid for 45 minutes. I can change that link. If I remove the link, then that link has then gone. You can't connect to it. So you now have a method where you can still connect to devices that are behind. So it might be that you need to do a modification or a change to a switch, and be it a Teltonika switch or a non-third-party switch. If it's accessible via SSH, Telnet, web interface, or even VNC, if it's a PC or something like that, you can access it all remotely from the device. And the setup is very simple. If we come into the device and I want to know what's connected where, so if I come in and look at the device details, one of the things that we will see is the ports. And when this populates and it's pulling back the information, it will show me what is connected to which port on my environment. Come on, takes a moment or two to pull this information back. Whilst this is happening, just to let you know that the solution is hosted in Amazon's web service. It is secure. We are using a secured version of MQ2T to manage the devices, so it does work in a secured manner on that side of it. Come on, let me just do a refresh. Come on. It's always slow when you want to see it, but here it comes. It's pulling down. So from here, I can see, from my wireless device, because it has an access point in it, and I can see that I've got a client connected to that. And yes, I could connect to that via VNC because that device is running VNC service. I've got another device here which is actually on the WAN port, so it's actually on the outside of the device, and I could connect to that. In this case, this is my normal internal switch. The LAN port here is on the inside. So here is my webcam that I was connecting to it. And if I want to add to a device, so add a new remote onto here, I select give it a name, select the protocol that I'm going to use. Well, this is HTTP and it is on port 123, add that, and it's now going to collect to it. And if I then close, it's then available to connect to that device. So it's nice and simple to do. So we have, and say, the connectivity. Additionally to that, it might be that you want to be able to have simple VPN capabilities. Well, we can have a site-to-site or client-to-site VPN capability going via the RMS cloud. So you can still have your VPNs even if your devices have only private non-internet routable addresses by connecting via the cloud. Now, where this is really nice is that I'm going to say out of the box, it is designed to be MSP friendly. We have the concept built into it that when you define or add your company to the device or into the RMS environment, that company can have a hierarchy. So as a MSP, you can offer the ability to manage or monitor your customers' devices, as well as giving them the ability to have their own administrators or read-only users for those devices. So we've got full control on that. And based on where you're coming in, you will have, say, different facility or different access rights into the environment on that side of it. Does anybody want to see anything else quickly about RMS? I can see a raised hand. I don't know what the question was.
Oh, Richard, sorry. Oh, classic double mute. So I was talking away, muted.
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions, Richard, before we move on, if that's all right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So the first question is, can you share the remote interface, or is it licensed per user?
When you create your account, you join that user account effectively to a company. So there's no additional license for multiple users onto that company. What you do, however, have to have is a subscription for the devices that you wish to manage in the environment. But it doesn't matter if you've got 10 users all managing one device. It's fully audited as to what Bob has done to the device on that side of it.
Okay.
But you do need the subscription for the devices.
Just going to add, it's a relatively low cost subscription,
and that's a yearly subscription price.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be looking for one device. I think it's like €2 a month per device. Okay. So it's So there's a yearly fee, but it's a small fee. Yeah, if you've got a bigger estate, that would grow, but it's relatively cost. Yeah.
Obviously, if anybody's got specific questions on any pricing, then please do contact us, and we'd be happy to provide a quote or some more information on that.
And it's worth, and Larry, there's some bundles, aren't there? So if you did have a bigger estate,
exactly,
you can buy packs of like 50, 100, and that brings the unit price down. Yeah.
Exactly. So it brings the price down by quite a lot. So their capability to buy the packs in 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years. So you don't have to have them buy the subscription every month, basically. Yeah.
Okay, great. Next question is, can you manage other devices with RMS or just Teltonika ones?
By the definition of managing, are you talking about native configuration? So from the interface here, then yes and no. I'm saying yes, you can, because I've got remote connectivity back to devices behind that I can do my management on. So in my case, if I wanted to manage my switch via its web interface, I could do that via the cloud, via the RMS cloud. However, the configuration would have to be done effectively locally on that switch, if that's answered the question.
Okay, great. I've got a question about the firewall. It says, is the firewall a simple stateful firewall, or does it have any next-gen capability?
It is more of a simple stateful firewall. I wouldn't call it a fully featured next generation firewall with no web content filtering and the like built in. You can add additional basic web filtering content, what we call additional plugins or modules into the device, but it's a very, shall we say, basic environment. So you could say, well, we'll allow access to the BBC's website. You can't say, I want to allow access to news and media, for example.
Perfect.
I think probably Sin, to be fair, if you're of a certain, kind of medium-sized business and above, you'll probably be running your own firewall independent of one of these gateways or routers. I mean, there could be some very small SMEs that are less security conscious that maybe could just do about kind of meet that requirement. But I would say in most cases, you probably would need to run another firewall on top of that. Would that be fair to say, Richard?
If you were looking from a more of an enterprise environment, yes, I would agree with that. If it's a case that I'm managing multiple car charging solutions or something like that, should we say, where you've got a very restricted network connectivity requirements, then I would say the firewall in here will be sufficient and be more than adequate for your requirements.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, I think that wraps us up on the RMS questions. So we'll press on. So back to you, Craig, for the slides. If any more questions obviously come in, then we can answer those at the end.
Thank you, Samuel. So, Larry, I think it's back to you around some of the use cases for Teltonika.
Yeah. So let's now speak about where the devices of Teltonika are usually integrated. So we tend to focus on 6 vertical markets. That's industrial and automation, energy and utilities, smart city and IoT, transport and fleet management, enterprise, and then the retail and POS systems. So if you could move along with another slide. Oh, one more slide back. I'm sorry.
No, so I think the other one was, but we got the wrong way around. I think the order was a bit off.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I think
we can just leave this slide, no problem. Yeah. So just to give you a few real life examples. So let's say for industrial and automation, so the Teltonika router can connect to the factory machines or robotic arms and monitor, control, ensure efficient operations. In smart cities, there are common use cases to manage traffic lights, to gather information about real-time conditions from CCTV cameras, reducing congestion. From the retail side and POS, our routers connect to the POS systems, ensuring smooth transactions and simultaneously providing Wi-Fi to people that are in the shops. For the transport and fleet management side, when it comes to public transport or trains, we have certifications that are required for the routers to be deployed there. So if they need connection with digital signage that's in the train, let's say, or POS system or CCTV, you can centralize everything and do everything remotely. And we'll speak a bit about it later. A lot of use cases surround the energy and utility sector. So if you have battery storages that need remote configuration, if you have wind farms or other utility meter solutions that you need to remotely configure, our routers offer different networking protocols that could connect to the systems, the PLCs, and through it, you can manage it. Finally, the enterprise. So our Teltonika routers have the VPN connection, as mentioned previously, with the standard and that firewall that you have. So, for example, if you have remote offices, we can let the access internal systems for remote offices and employees working there for secure communication and having the network locally. Next slide, please. So I picked out a few different topologies that are interesting to me, and I hope it will be to you as well, where it clearly indicates how the routers work of ours. So this is the root X11 from the X series. It's Cat12, I think, router, so really high throughput speeds. So as I mentioned, centralized solution where you can access your CCTV camera through RMS web interface. You can check the timetables, manage digital signages. For example, in Lithuania, JC Deco installed our routers to remotely manage it in shops or big mall centers, the digital signages and what is shown there. And through RMS, you can give the Wi-Fi as well to passengers. And the Root X11 is actually a train certified product of ours that we have. And yeah, so next slide, please. Another really interesting use case for me is the self-service parcel terminal. So there's plenty of new ones globally, and it usually, if something goes wrong, you have to connect and go physically to the location, send people. That's not really efficient, time wasting, when an engineer can manage through the RMS Connect and VPN services. So all you need to do through RMS, you can install the router, of course, to the self-service parcel terminal, and through it, whether the connection you choose through RMS Connect, you can access the PC Linux system through SSH, and access its screen using VNC protocols, as if we're right in front of it. So this as well lets you access the cameras and have the centralized solution. Next slide, please. Finally, from Teltonika's side, and when it comes to open reality, we are really excited to partner with them, as we've seen that their expertise and shared commitment resembles our values as a company. So both companies and together we strive to deliver reliable and secure IoT products to all. And our approach is a partner first. So all the technical support is there locally. And yeah, we strive to be the global leaders in IoT. And that's pretty much it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Yeah, I mean, just probably do final Q&A in a minute, but just from our side, next steps for people, if you're interested, we do have pricing brochures, and obviously reach out to the account managers if you want some detail around any specific products and any commercials around that. If you want a bit more of an in-depth kind of demo or meeting or something, just to kind of talk about your requirements in a bit more detail, we're happy to set something up. And equally, we've got products in stock. If you guys are looking to do test any product evaluation or even buy a couple of devices, please reach out to us. Happy to support you guys. And yeah, really, that was it. But Sam, you got any more questions?
Yeah, we have got a couple more questions actually. How are the devices powered? Can they be powered from switches, PoE injectors? Do you just get like a plug? What's the deal?
Okay, so I'll answer that question for you. If we look at the gateway devices, they can be powered by the simplest form being a plug top type supply. Make sure that you want one with a 13 amp plug on the end of it, not the EU one when you order it. We also have the option, because as you can see, they are designed to be mounted in mobile devices. It might be that you want to power them from a 12-volt car power supply. That can also be achieved in the device. From a PoE perspective, the only devices that can be powered by true 802.3 PoE will be the access points. The routers themselves are powered by passive PoE, so they have their own PoE injector, passive PoE injector, if you want to power them those on that side of it.
Thank you. Is there any eSIM capability?
I can answer that
I
actually.
was going to say the one that's
Yeah, so a few weeks back, we released the first router. That's Route 241 that has the eSIM capability. And we're planning to release a lot more and actually apply to all of our routers to have the eSIM capability. But yeah, the Route 241 or this one is already available with the eSIM.
What about customer support and maintenance? What can you tell us a bit more about how that works, Larry, in terms of
Yeah, so
SLAs and stuff?
yeah, so the customer support or maintenance, that's our key priorities as well. So we have the 24/5 technical support, and all of our partners are certified that we start working with, so they'll be able to help out technically, commercially, and yeah, on all the technical requirements.
Anything to add to that?
I was going to say, Richard, have you? There is a support forum, isn't there? Have you? Any sort of notes around how?
There are various, shall we say, support features or areas. So there is the public support forums. There's user guides available, as well as example configurations taking you step by step, as well as I'm going to call it a traditional ticketing based support portal as well on that side of it, where they will help with various questions and problems.
Yeah. I was saying, hopefully Richard's demo is showing it's quite a simple solution and quite user friendly. But I mean, we will be running accredited training programs. You know, like we do in the Wi-Fi world, we'll be doing training courses to run alongside Teltonika. So yeah, both the combination of the training support and the general support you can get through different forums and support tickets if needed. So yeah, should have most things covered.
Right. Unless anybody else has another question, I think we've answered everything. So
Wonderful.
I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us today. Just to recap, you will get a copy of the recording following the session. And yeah, please reach out to us with any more questions, and we're happy to assist.
Brilliant.
So thanks to our panelists. Thanks Richard. Thanks Larry. Thanks Craig.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for attending, and we'll hopefully see you on another webinar soon.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Great.
Cheers. Bye.